What's up for June? A partial solar eclipse, the scorpion's sting, and June is for Juno. Following last month's total lunar eclipse, June brings us a solar eclipse. On June 10th, the moon will slip briefly between Earth and the Sun, partially obscuring our local star from view. Whereas May's lunar eclipse was best viewed around the Pacific, this month's solar eclipse will be a treat for those in the Northeast US, Eastern Canada, and Northern Europe. For US viewers, this is a sunrise event, with the moon already appearing to have taken a bite out of the sun as it's rising, so you'll want to find a clear view toward the eastern horizon to observe it. Those farther to the north and east will see more of the sun obscured by the moon. For those in Northern Europe, it's more of a lunchtime eclipse. Wherever you are, please review eclipse safety practices and never look at the sun without proper protection for your eyes. On summer evenings, you may notice a curved grouping of stars crawling across the southern sky, among them a brilliant red beacon. This is the constellation Scorpius, the Scorpion, and beginning in June, it's the prime time to look for it. This grouping of stars has been thought of as having the shape of a scorpion going back to ancient times in the Mediterranean and Middle East. In the Greek myth, the scorpion's deadly sting brought down the great hunter Orion. And that's why, the story goes, we find them on opposite sides of the sky today. This pattern of stars also has been seen as part of a great dragon in China and the fishhook of the demigod Maui in Hawaii. That fishhook shape also forms the tail of the scorpion. At the beginning of June, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the scorpion's tail might be below the horizon for you early in the evening. It rises over the first few hours after dark. But by the end of the month, the scorpion's tail will be above the horizon after sunset for most stargazers. That bright beacon-like star in Scorpius is Antares, which is a huge red giant star and one of the brightest in the sky. It forms the blazing heart of the scorpion. So look toward the south and use Antares as your guide to find the constellation Scorpius. Finally this month, you'll remember back in December when Jupiter and Saturn had their incredibly close meetup in the sky. In the run-up to that great conjunction, Jupiter led Saturn across the sky all through 2020. Well, 6 months later, the pair continue to move farther apart, and now Saturn has the lead position as the two planets rise and set. Look for them in the east after midnight or toward the south at dawn. And for more Jupiter excitement in June, NASA's Juno spacecraft is making its next close flyby over Jupiter on June 8th. And this time it will also make a low-altitude flyby over the planet-sized icy moon Ganymede on June 7th. This is the first of several planned flybys of the Jovian moons by Juno over the next couple of years that include encounters with icy Europa and volcanic Io. Here are the phases of the moon for June. You can catch up on all of NASA's missions to explore the solar system and beyond at nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
So I have lots of favorites. One that's fairly well known because the story's been told of an erupting volcano in 2006 off the coast of Alaska. It had just started. I captured the entire plume. I got it by accident. I was just taking pictures of one island, the next island, next island. Something in the back of my head said that last one didn't look right. I went back and reframed it, and there was this volcano erupting.
The time-lapse imagery that we've been able to get of Aurora is just fascinating to watch, and just strikingly beautiful, just to be able to see that process moving, seeing how the aurora shifts and moves like a live thing, and just knowing that for that particular stretch of time, you are pretty much seeing what the crew saw, in orbit.
The Grand Canyon was one of my favorites. If I wanted to film a length of the canyon, if I wanted to get the detail with the big lens, if I took a shot, immediately took another shot, a series of them in a very short duration of time, say seconds, and later you can take a software package and stitch them together. And then you get the mosaic, you get them all.
Something I had never known about or seen before astronaut photography is all the fishing boats in Southeast Asia. When I was scrolling through and I saw all these like bright green lights in these photos, and I thought, okay, is that a lens artifact? Is that a reflection of the camera of some sort? And I was like, no, there's too many, it's too scattered, and it's a huge photo. And then I just simply looked it up and saw, oh, this is a known thing, fishing boats with these bright green lights.
So I like a lot of the nighttime imagery, city lights, lightning. But I think one of the images that most surprised me is these really boring images we got. You've got the black Earth, because it's dawn or dusk. The horizon is kind of an orangey red. Above that, it's a little bit of blue, and then you can see space above it. Finally asked somebody, what are these pictures that we're taking? Some of them just don't happen to have anything in them. The astronaut took a picture because the conditions are right. Others of them have mesospheric clouds, and they look different than normal clouds. They're way up there, and it has this kind of texture to them. Apparently they weren't discovered until we had people in space to take pictures of them.
My last flight 3 years ago, I was able to catch a glimpse of noctilucent clouds with a texture, a density of texture like I had never seen before. I got some great overlapping shots that then later I was able to stitch together and get this wide panorama of this just richly textured noctilucent clouds, which are very unique and very beautiful.
So getting to know the planet has been a constant interest. And sometimes very beautiful, and I have an interest in places that are remote. And then it parlayed into the bigger issue of the megafans, which nobody tumbled to. I spent 10 years getting to know the planet, and now I do know it, at least through a 400 to 50 millimeter lens. And that has been a most wonderful discovery.